Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the first video of quite a few, and what we're going to show you is how to, in this case, string a guitar. We'll do some other things too, maybe a video how to make an electromagnet and so on. And so what I have right here is I have two strings that I've already put into the guitar, and just to quickly explain why there are no strings on this guitar, I took this right here, this little doohickey, and I turned this key until the string became loose, and then I pulled it out from here, making it loose like this, and then I popped up these little doohickeys, at which point I could pull the string out. Now that that is done, I am putting these back in, and these bad boys are going on this guitar. So this first string right here, I'm going to slide into my high E, and you know what, before I even do that, I think I'll take, I'll just do that with my fingers real quick, just to get the excess dust off of here. That's an oversight on my end. There we go, good enough. And here's my high E, I'm going to slide that into the hole right here. What did I just knock off? Oh, that's the bridge. They were talking about how these can come off. Alright, so slide that back into place. So, yeah, that was interesting. Haven't had that happen before. So now I've got this slid in. I'm going to allow it to be this loose right here. As you can see, it's real loose. And then I'm going to bend that up just a little bit. Oop. And start turning this one right here, this key. Alright, in order to go quickly, I'm going to use this tool, and I'm going to keep my finger guiding this piece up on the top so it doesn't go flying around on me. And I'm going to keep my thumb down here, hold this in place. As I turn, you'll notice that the string starts to get tighter and tighter, and that this piece up here is spinning around. Oh, there we go. Now we are almost tightened. Good. Okay, so now that we've got that going, I'm going to take and do the next one. Before I do that, I'll take my little tool right here. I'm going to clip off some of that string because I don't need all that excess stuff hanging around flapping in my face. Throw it away, and I'm going to go on up to the next key and slide that in there. After I've guided it through and put it into the bridge up here, I'm going to check to make sure it's tight. Slide that in just the same way, bend up, and start guiding as I turn. And something you'll notice if you look at the edge of that string, I am making sure that I turn it so that the string goes around this way, clockwise rather than counterclockwise. You'll notice when I switch over to the other side of the strings, the other side of the keys, that I go in the opposite direction. I want the strings to always go out when I wrap them around these keys. So when I get to this one over here, I'm going to start, winding it around on the going to the left instead of going to the right. I'm going to go ahead and cut that again. It's nice and tight enough anyway for now. There we go. And pull off my next couple of strings here. They should fit. Let's see, we have green, which is my G. That's right here. And then we have the black, which is the D, I believe. I'm going to take this and use my little tool again, pop this piece out. When I slide in the string, notice I'm going to connect these right here. There's a little indentation in this piece. I don't know if you can see it very well. But I'm going to slide my string right into that, okay? And then I'm going to stick that in. Now, once I get it inside, it's going to kind of slide out of place because the string is now at an angle, and this is going to continue going straight down. But because there's that little hole, that little notch on the inside, it kind of slides up and gets pinched into place. All right. So now that's where I want it. I'm going to bring my string up and guide it through that hole again. This time I'm going to make it a little bit less, a little bit more, that needs to go around the outside of the key. I do that because these are much thicker strings, and the thinner strings will hold on a little bit easier. I want that thicker string to be wrapped around quite a bit. All right, again, you'll notice it's going around the outside clockwise as I turn, and it's going to get tighter and tighter. I got to continue to guide it with my thumb and my fingers, and I'm going to have to adjust that just a little bit with my other finger because it's riding up too high. I want to keep it so that it goes around just the way I want it. I'm going to have to slide this into the bridge, and here we go. All right, now it's starting to go where I want it. I don't have to guide it anymore, and you can see it's a nice, nicely wound string. I'm going to go ahead and cut that one, and ow, I pinched my finger there. And go ahead and get the next string placed into the guitar. Again, we pop out that little piece. Then we guide it into the string piece. Slide it down, and it's going to pull up a little bit until we get it nice and taut. At which point, we're going to switch back to guiding it through that hole there at the top. And again, I'm going to give it that extra bit of length there, bend it up, and I'm this time going to start winding it so that it turns the opposite direction. So you can kind of see it's bending out the other way, and it's going to come around here counterclockwise this time. As I turn, it's going to get a bit finicky. I'm going to have to mess with it a little bit with my fingers. Keep it pressed down because I don't want it to cover itself. I want it to keep going around in a corkscrew, you know. And there we got a nice tight wind going around. Perfect. Did you hear how it kind of changed pitch there? That is because down at the base of the guitar, the string kind of popped up just a little bit because I didn't pull it quite tight enough. But that's okay if that happens, because you can always reposition it, you can always tighten it back up. Alright, so I have two more strings here. I have this red is my A. They do these colors because the strings are all packaged in the same package, which makes them kind of difficult to tell them apart. Because they are so almost the same size, and you can almost tell the difference between these two because they're so big. But if you look at these right here, it's very difficult to tell the difference between those two high strings. Very difficult to tell the difference between these two middle strings. So, I do believe this red is my A, yep, and this one right here is my low E. I'm going to set that down over there for a moment, get it out of my way, put this guitar back up on the legs, knees. That song's in my head. Knees, arms and toes. Alright, so slide this into place, right, just like we did before. Finding that where it pulls out a little bit. Gives you a little bit of resistance. We're going to slide it up into the second one. Now, you'll notice that I started with this bottom one the first time, and this time I'm starting with the top one. It makes it actually a little easier if you do start with the bottom string and work your way in. But I don't care, and I'm just trying to get it strung right now. And that's what's going to happen. So I think that's good right there. Bend that up and go ahead and start winding. This time I'm going to make sure that it doesn't go over top of the string, and that's one of the reasons why I did it this way. I want to be able to show you, see how it's starting to turn? I don't want it to go over top if I'm stringing it this way. I want that string to go underneath. And the reason for that is because if I wind it over top, it's actually going to grate against the string and cause a little bit of tension that will cause that string to get a little damaged. And we don't want to damage the string if we can help it. So we're going to keep it down and press down right there as we turn the string. Right. I'll put that back in the guiding post and continue spinning that until we get it nice and wound tight. Wound nice and tightly. Ow. It's starting to pop up again. Be careful that I keep it right where I want it. Okay, uh-oh. We've popped up. Get that back in place. Now, with this one right here, I'm giving myself a lot of extra string. I'm doing that so that if my string needs loosening, I've still got a lot on there. And I don't have to worry about it later. Alright, so cut that off. I'm just gonna trim these up just a bit because they're starting to poke me. I don't like being poked. I'm sure it's true for a lot of you. Meanwhile, while I'm doing this, I'm gonna finish up the last string and talk to you a little bit about the strings. So my low E, the one that I'm about to string in a moment here, it is going to make my lowest tone. My lowest pitch tone, and woo, that went flying. It's all the way across the room. And the high E, I don't want you to get them confused. There's a low E and there's a high E, but they're both named E. One is E low and one is E high, and they have them numbered 1 through 6 on a regular guitar, and the low E is called the 6th string, and the high E is called the 1st string on the guitar. So I'm having a little difficulty with this one. This one doesn't want to stay seated. There we go. Wait. Yeah. Got it. All right. So that low E, it's really where you get all your where you get all your bass from in your guitar, and there we go. And the high E is really where you hear a lot of lead guitarists making all those crazy sounds that fans love to hear, and you really don't get a whole lot of that on the low spectrum unless you're talking about a bass player. So those lead guitarists, what they're using a lot of is those high strings to do their solos, and your bassists use a lot of their lower strings and can kind of play all over. So depends on what kind of guitarist or bassist you are, but in my experience, if you're a good enough guitarist, you can usually play a bass line, and if you're a good enough bassist, you could play a lead guitar pretty well. Alright, so we're at this point now where I'm going to need to tune the guitar, and unfortunately my tuner, my battery died. You would think that that would be a planning thing for me. I have another tuner. Guess where it is? You're looking at it right there. Well, no, not here. No, there. Yeah, the camera, the phone happens to be also my tuner. So I'm going to have to tune this another time, and we will go over how to tune a guitar later. But essentially, once you've gotten one of the keys tuned to the proper pitch, then you can come over here and press on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th fret on your guitar, and when you press on that 5th fret, you'll be able to hear the sound of the next string down. So with the low E, it goes on to the A, and then from pressing the 5th string on the 5th fret on the guitar on the A string, you will you'll hear the sound for the D, and D to the G, and G to the B. Only with G to the B, you actually have to move up to the 6th fret instead. So there's just a little bit different on that one, and then you drop back down to the 5th fret for the B to the E, the high E. So that's all there is for today. Nice simple stringing guitar, and you can see the strings are much prettier now. They've got that beautiful sheen. They aren't dirty like the strings that I had before, which you can kind of see one of them here and a few more of them right here. The difference between those strings is enormous. The colors have faded because of the just dirt and air quality affecting the strings, causing them to rust. Next time we will play a song. How does that sound? And then perhaps after that we will talk about how to tune that guitar right after or right before. So, thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.